So yeah, we're going to move into the timeline now and conclude this achievement run. This might actually be helpful for those of you who still want to get the Mare Nostrum. It's not the easiest achievement, and like I said in the earlier parts, yeah, you know what, just fuck republics, really. They're good at the beginning. At the end, I really disliked playing a republic, but perhaps I was just bored with playing a republic all the time because Mare Nostrum takes ages, or they aren't too good in absolutism, age of absolutism and revolutions, because they don't benefit from absolutism that much. And yeah, well, that's pretty much it. I couldn't also get personal unions or anything like that, so there you have it. With that being said, let's begin. So started as Florence. We had a good starting position. Paradoxically, Albania is gone, as you can see, and we attacked Aragon from what I remember. They had an independence war from Naples, so it was an easy jump. Yeah, and as you can see, I suppose we should get Sardinia any moment now. Yeah, there we go. We took Sardinia. We immediately declared on Naples, and we took a big chunk of southern Italy, which is really juicy, especially Messina. There's a fort there and it's mountainous, so this province allows us to really dictate the terms in future conflict right here. So yeah, about that time we were looking for new angles to fight, and I think we attacked actually Corsica and used it to take Dubrovnik because Ragusa was an ally that was the ally, and they were guaranteed by the Ottomans. We quickly attacked Serbia, and Bosnia. We vassalized Bosnia, fed them Serbian land because they are super tolerant towards heretics, so yeah, that it was stabilizing. We took a war with Tunisia. This was actually a difficult war, I remember. We used the fact that the Portuguese were fighting them and really benefited from that. And took Naples in its entirety, and yeah, it was super beneficial. I remember we were involved in some wars with Castile and Aragon on the French side, and it was not the best to my interest because it was slowing me down. I had to go really careful to Corsica in the meanwhile, because hell, why the fuck not? You know how things are. And yeah, Tripoli gone, Tunis ate it, and Tunis perhaps ate Tripoli, but we ate Genoa. And this is a super important province. I mean, come on, it's a fucking trade node, and Genoese trade node is super valuable. It's Italian. It's awesome. I think at this point Shadow Empire is over, so it's no longer Holy Roman Empire land. You can just grab it anytime you want. And as we were fighting Genoese, we actually found an opportunity to expand to Crimea. Because hell, why the hell not? Crimea is nice to expand towards. Yeah. Excuse me. So we took it. I think we declared on Theodoro immediately afterwards, the moment we had the opportunity. We also made Tripoli a vassal. Yeah, we did. We released Tripoli as a vassal. But hell, it didn't work out nicely. We took some lands from Great Horde, and I think Genoa as well in the next war. And we vassalized Theodoro, as you can see. Didn't work out well, and I'll show you just in a moment. At this point, I think we were involved in a war with Austria. We're dragged into this war with Austria and Hungary, interestingly enough, because Hungarians supported Bosnian independence, which was a pain in the ass, and we had to fight Hungarians and Bosnians, which actually we did really effectively, and we managed to take this beautiful Adriatic coastline. I was going to attack Hungarians anyway, and Bosnians were only an obstacle in that fight. So yeah, we took Adriatic coastline. This is actually really good. It opens up a nice field of expansion to build some claims right here in Gulf of Venice, which is a really rich region. We also took some land from Tripoli, this coastal province, because we wanted to make a claim on Mamluks. They were in war with the Ottomans. We wanted to use that opportunity to attack, but the Ottomans took Alexandria before us, which really fucking sucked. We took some land out of the Egypt, but it did not equalize our disappointment. At this point, Theodoro was released. I had to release Theodoro because they had support from Muscovy and Poland and Lithuania, I think. And Lithuania, Muscovy, and Hungary, and I really couldn't find those powers. They were way too powerful for me. But as a consolation prize, I took some, and this is big. When you're playing something in Italy, wanting to form Italy, aggressive expansion will be a hell of a problem in this region. You have to play it really, really slow, take vassals, or expand in other directions like here, right? But these provinces in Austria, Tyrol, and holy shit, I can't remember this name right now. And Treviso, Treviso, Tripoli, and Luenzia. I think these are Roman names now. Well, this is a mountainous fort that blocks passage through the Alps. It produces gold. It's amazing to have. Really take this province from Austria if you want to control Alpine passages. No brainer, amazing. Same goes for this. This is Waldstadt. It's super important. This is important. Valencia or Piedmont, both are good. And Cuneo here. Cuneo allows you to really, to wall off Alps with Tyrol, with Luenzina, those Latin names. Just surround yourself and you have an impregnable barrier, especially with defensive ideas like I had, and this is really, really, really good if you want to develop in Italy, because it will allow you to kill tens and hundreds of thousands of enemies, as you're going to see. So yeah, at this point we were a great power. We defeated Austria basically, and that means that really Holy Roman Empire is your oyster. And right now I think I was looking at Milan with an apprehensive eye and thinking perhaps we could take them. It would be nice, but you know how things are with aggressive expansion. Sometimes it's difficult, especially after taking something from Austria like that. And my enemies were not lazy, as you can see. Ottomans are dangerous. And yeah, at this point we finally vassalized Bosnia, so we had a free Diplo slot, which is nice. An alliance with France was key. Securing it was actually coincidental. They were friendly, I think because of rivalries, and it really didn't take much persuasion to do it. I was surprised that the French were very useful allies for the bigger part of the campaign, excuse me. Yeah, at this point we weren't doing anything in Africa practically. We just didn't care about Ethiopia, the Horn of Africa. I think perhaps it was a mistake, though let's be honest, how long can you wait before taking Italy as an Italian state to unify Italy? Not that long. Italian ideas are awesome, you really need them. So yeah, I think I focused right now on this area. I think it's about time when I went reformed. Changing my religion was really, really big. As you can see, I united this Tuscany state. It was really, really good. I was planning on taking Roma and some more key provinces. But yeah, the biggest concern for me were those Alpine passages. And I think after forming Spain, I decided, you know what, this is nice and I'll need to take it, but aggressive expansion is a bit, so perhaps a war with France. And yeah, we defeated Theodoro again. We didn't attack them directly. They were liberated. They had Muscovy as an ally, but we used the fact that they were allied, or they were guaranteeing Trebizond, I think. And we just took the land from them. Didn't bother with vassalizing those assholes again, and just ate it like a nice meal. In the meantime, we defeated Venice. I didn't take Venice as a province because I really didn't need it. I was focusing on the Genoese trade node. This is its end value, so really don't look at this value at this age. This is the end value, so the investment here is really worth it. It allows you to move a lot of money from Sevilla, from Alexandria, what's not to love. And from Venice I took Verona. It's one of those key provinces you need to form Italy. And that was my biggest priority at this stage of the game, because I realized, holy shit, it's actually getting pretty damn late in the game. And I need to get it done. I need to speed the hell up, because getting this is priority. Italian ideas are awesome. You have shitloads of improved relations, trade, income, galley efficiency, core creation, cost reduction. Best in the game practically for me. One of the best of the game. Easily in Europe, I think it's one of the best from formable nations. So yeah. So we kept going strong. Taking Verona, of course, was dangerous from aggressive expansion, but nothing near taking Rome and Ancona. And at this point, we were really, really close. We still need several provinces, and by several, I mean Modena, Mantua, and Milan, Mediolano, to form Italy, because you need Milan, Mantua, Modena, we had all the rest, Rome, Ancona, Siena, all Lucca, Firenze, Genoa. Yeah, at this point, only 3 provinces left. Sounds easy, only 3 provinces, but it's not that easy to actually get with this state, as they had decent allies from what I remember, and aggressive expansion was slowly down. When you want to move fast, you want to move hard. Now powers, as you can see, we took Spain. I perhaps paused it a little too late, but yeah, after fighting in Italy, taking Rome. At this point I was reformed, so I did not mind taking Rome. I really like the reformed religion, and I must say it's really good. I'm super satisfied with reformed, and definitely give it a shot if you're thinking about playing Protestant or reformed. Just join the Reformation, check it out. So we attacked Spain with France. This time we contributed a flat far more than in the past, because in the past we were just dicking around instead of focusing on this conflict. And in this conflict we managed to take Sicily, and for us, which I mean Syracuse, Malta. We took the Balears, and we took the state of Valencia, the entirety of the state of Valencia. This is really nice because this is a trade center. Here's our estuary. Really good for Genoese trade node control, and from transferring from Sevilla, which at this point was starting to get big. Yeah, Caribbean, less in Brazil of course, but Caribbean, as Ivory Coast is not really developed yet. But yeah, as you can see, in this game colonization moved mainly to the Caribbean first, and it became quite valuable of a region for the Portuguese mostly. So yeah, this was that. I think I actually secured an alliance with Morocco at this point, because I was the Spanish, an enemy to Spain, and you know, they actually found me to be a good ally, which was nice, as they weren't pirating me anymore, and Tunis was only the problem. Those pirates are fucking annoying, really, now that I think about it. They were so terribly stressful to play against. Even when I sent ships to protect trade nodes, sometimes it wouldn't work. It's just annoying, that element of Mare Nostrum, which is in general just a lame DLC in my experience from all the DLCs I played. So yeah, took Spain, really wild on overextension. But yeah, well, fuck that, we're wild on overextension. Never mind, we're just taking Milan, Mantua, Modena in the next conflict. These were actually 2 wars, if I remember correctly, and we have everything we need to form Italy. I remember at this point we had a fucking amazing leader, a man who had really good traits. I think it was Corsini, like my first Republican leader, which I truly developed to 666 because I needed those points, and I had enough Republican tradition backup. And I was on par with tech, with military ideas, which were my priority at this point, I think still. The quantity, I believe, was in development right now. So yeah, he was awesome. He lived just enough to, you know, form Italy. I kind of miss the red. The Florentine color is nice. Oh well, Italy, brilliant idea. So yeah, we're going as Italy from now on. People dislike us just a tiny little bit less, and theoretically, yeah. Took Theodoro from Theodoro, nice. And I think at this point, we had a coalition war, if I remember correctly. I mean, people really disliked me doing what I was doing and taking lands left and right and left, and so a big European coalition was fighting me. 2 times, I think. Yeah, I had a vassal in form of Serbia. I made Serbians a vassal, and I took the Balkan border. I fed it to them, I gave them scutage so they wouldn't be attacked. I took some more land in Spain, and yeah, I remember at this point when I took this piece of land, especially I was going for Sevilla. This was my priority. This is Sevilla, don't worry. I wanted to control civilian trade node because it allowed me to move a lot of money towards Genoa and just cash in the bucks. And my move towards Sevilla, I couldn't take Granada because Morocco sieged it. I remember this as a regret. my move towards Sevilla has caused me to get crazy amount of overextension. I think it was like 180%, if I'm correct. And in result, I actually took Waldstadt in a war with Milan, and I think I had a coalition war somewhere around that. And it was big, and it was tough, and yeah, taking Pyrenees is also nice. This is a really annoying fort. I had 2 coalition wars, one after another, really short extensions of time. And the second coalition war, yeah, the second wasn't yet. I'll tell you when. You'll see. So yeah, taking this from Austria actually. Wow, I don't remember I moved so fast, but apparently I did. And yeah, so I think this was right after the first coalition where I annexed Serbia. And these provinces are actually really, really good here in Croatia and in Serbia. They produce cloth, they are farmland, they are good, cheap to develop. This is a really valuable part of the Balkans. Actually, Balkans can be a really, really valuable area if you develop it just a tiny little bit. So just a heads up. Don't underestimate Balkans. They can be really, really valuable. If you can deal somehow with the Viennese trade node, which sucks up from Ragusa considerably, and it was super annoying. So yeah, at this point I think France broke its alliance with me, which was a pain in the ass. But I really didn't need them anymore. I had my mountain forts in Krain, this is Krain, in Tyrol, in Waldstadt, and I thought, fuck it, I'm safe. I also had a really nice fort in Hun. I think it's, yeah, it's here, it's Hun, it's a really good place to place a fort. I had nobility there, so your defensiveness was crazy, like 80-90%. I had a fort in Dalmatia, so they allowed me to control Balkans reasonably well. As you can see, didn't move into Egypt at all, left Crimea to its own devices, just had a fort here, transferred some trade towards Constantinople. I didn't feel strong enough to challenge the Ottomans because, fuck it, they scary, bro. And, wait a second. Yeah, the moment Netherlands formed, they began my enemy, and I think this is the time when I have my second coalition war. It was a really, yeah, no, not yet, I remember, it was 1612 or something like that. It was, oh my god, it was a fucking huge war. I think 1,200,000 people died, 300,000 on my side, 900,000 on the enemy. My side included Muscovy and Sweden, which became my bros after France has decided to ditch me. And yeah, the second coalition war was a real bitch to fight, and I prepared to it. I thought I'm ready because I could feel it coming. And yeah, Aqua 16, yeah, province, really good province by the way, because it's an estuary, so Genoese trade node, right? And yeah, at this point I took this area, northern part of Spain, and I landlocked Spain completely, which really hampered the colonization efforts, and only the colonies still continued. Which is quite weird that the colonies remained colonial despite Spain being landlocked, but oh well, what the hell do I know? And meanwhile I conquered like 1-2 provinces in Africa because I had a mission there and it was nice. And at this point, yeah, I also won a war with the Ottomans. This was my first engagement with the Ottomans, and I took, of course, the most important part, which is the Straits of Bosphorus. And Aegean and Constantinople were mine, so I felt really, really confident that I control this. I can block Ottomans from Balkans, so at this point it's just chewing them up to pieces, moving forward step by step, you know, mechanically, very effectively. Yeah, and it was this moment when I had the biggest coalition war per se. I had the entire northern Germany against me with Polish and Lithuanians as well. France broke my alliance. Somewhere along this point, I can't remember. They didn't join the coalition because we had a truce, if I remember correctly. But they did allow the enemy military access, which was a pain in the ass, and you'll understand why in just a moment. I had Alps secured, so I could really bleed the enemy out here. I could sacrifice Balkans, but the enemy could just march through Savoy. member of the coalition, and they could just ignore this fault because they were just moving towards unoccupied Milanese provinces, and that sucked. So I remember I focused my entire effort at the beginning of this war. I just gathered all my troops and put them in Savoy and Milan. I sieged it very fast and very effectively. I used a lot of military power to destroy walls, take those forts and secure the leak, so to speak. Because with the moment I secured Alps, I knew I could just outlast the enemy if I have enough money, and there you go. It's 1618, those were very tense years. I not only won the coalition war, I brought the enemy to a standstill. I exhausted them to the point where I could take Piedmont, where I could take Cuneo, and I could secure the Alps permanently for myself. So this was the most important victory, I think, at this stage of the campaign, and right now I knew that I will succeed with this run. It's just a matter of, a little bit of patience. Absolutism started at this point, so I started to buff it up, and I was suffering terribly from my government form, which was, of course, Republic, because they have a tremendous penalty towards that's the word again, absolutism. Yeah. By the way, League War didn't really start, so it didn't happen. Interestingly enough, Ditmachen as this stage was doing awesome, but I think the Swedes eventually ate them, if I remember correctly. Now Hungary looks funny, divided in two by this big Ottoman cock. And Polish moving here into Slovakia, and I think it was a good move by the Polish, and it certainly benefited them tremendously. Now, at this stage, I had decided that I need a war with France, I think. We were in a conflict, possibly. And this is actually going to be a bit of a problem. Every time Austria fights me or they give military access, this is a fort. I can't secure it, and the enemy was just able to waddle all around and block Istria and divide my forces between Italy and Balkans, so I had to use transport ships. Fortunately, it wasn't a problem. As you can see, I control a big part of the Mediterranean already, so I started to treat it as my own personal space, my own Mare Nostrum, so yeah, that's about it. At this stage, I was impressed by Pomerania. As you can see, they are quite big, and I discovered the rest of the world slowly. I was moving towards Africa, as you can see, because I didn't have any aggressive expansion there. And I wanted to get to Gulf of Aden, secure it, and think about India, right? I mean, big Bahmanis, big Delhi, but they don't have anything on us. We're European, we're gonna gun them down. And war with Yemen, I think, was next. Perhaps war with France as well. So when you are at this stage of the achievement run, it's relatively late. Absolutism started, your admin efficiency is going up, so it's easy to grab more and more land with each conflict, especially if you have Diplo ideas and you have increased war score, right? I know this must be really fucking annoying for you, this papal blob in the middle of Italy, but it's not much development. Think about it mathematically. Divide and conquer. Look, Milan is landlocked, Papal State is, at least in Italy, landlocked. They pose no threat. I can have them as sovereign states right now. There are bigger priorities. And always when you want to conquer an area, make it permanently yours, start with the coastline. Coastline is, especially if it's far away from you, coastline is the key. If you control the coastline, you can send in troops, you can secure trade, you can relieve your sieges more easily, move from one place to another, just manage your troops much better. Coastline is the key, especially in Mare Nostrum. So yeah, as Italy, I would focus the next 50, I think, or 60 years, we're going to check it out, on securing the Mediterranean coastline. I don't remember who I fought next. Maybe France, France. So yeah, realizing my strategy, consequently took Mediterranean coastline, took Marseille, I don't remember what the province is. Jesus. Never mind. They have a fort here, so yeah, here, Perpinanium, yeah, it was nice. There's lots of things. So with this under my control, I was super confident. Northern Mediterranean was entirely mine. Greece was still Ottoman, but I think at this point I decided that it's time to think into perspective. Took Yemen in the time, as you can see, centers of trade. In Gulf of Aden, of course, Zayla and Mogadishu are the centers of trade. You can't get a trade company in this trade node. You can get it in Zanzibar, of course. But Zanzibar sails to Cape of Good Hope, which sails to Ivory Coast, etc., etc. Anyway, I secured this for future. This was a bitch to me. I did not take this province. I thought, no problem, I'll take it next time. But this and prevention of military access, only conditional military access from time to time, had actually caused me to create a separate fleet here. As you know, Suez is not here yet at this stage of the game, so I had to have two completely separate fleets operating in Red Sea and Arabian Sea and Mediterranean, which is quite frustrating. As you can see, the distance is practically non-existent. So after dealing with the French, I went after the Ottomans. I'm sure of that. I think that's a given, I suppose. Or Tunisia. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, Tunisia. I think I attacked them via a proxy in a war. I don't remember with whom. I take Tunis because this is a center of trade, the second center of trade in Tunisian trade node, etc. Tripoli. This trade node is really shit. Really, Tunisian trade node isn't worth much. I don't think you're going to be developing it. You could push money from Central Africa, but no point. You can do it just as well through Safi or through Sevilla. Yeah, whatever. So I was pushing money to Safi, I think, and from here to Sevilla. Not consciously, but still. So after taking this, I wanted to reduce Tunisian capacity to rob my coastline because it was really annoying, those goddamn pirates. I think it was time to move to kebab. This is still the classical kebab and not the super changed version in Cradle of Civilization. And I think as you can see, I had a war with kebab, and as I said earlier, coastline is the key. So get it every time you can. So Balkan coastline, important part. Silistra, I wanted to detach the Polish from this part, as this is the borderline Balkan region province. This part belongs to Carpathia because this is Wallachian land. Well, this looks funny. Yeah, at this point I took Silistra, and I knew that I could base my border with Poland here until the time when I need to take Bessarabia and the rest of the coastline for Mare Nostrum, of course. So the goal was to make a border here across along Danube. It took a while actually, but the elements were there, so I secured the key province. I knew that I could get it done later and didn't bother with spending my war score on anything of this when I have the coastline. Now Macedonia is a second trade center in Ragusa, which helped me establish control and push that sweet money from Constantinople to Ragusa and then to Genoa. And this trade node was really a problem. For a big part of the game, Vienna was annoying as hell, but we managed it. And yeah, at this point we took a big chunk of the Middle Eastern coastline. It was amazingly glorious, and it allowed us to move forward very convincingly and continue our rather aggressive plans. Meanwhile, also I think I took it early in the war with Kilwa. At this point, I don't really remember what I was doing. Really, it's all a haze. Yeah, well, I certainly took a war with the Portuguese, and some Spanish land is mine as well. But the Portugal war, I took Lisbona. I don't think I need to explain why I took Lisbona if I want to control Sevillan trade node. Lisbona and Sevilla matter. They are super wealthy as far as trade centers go, and yeah, it was nice. Also, which was nice is the fact that the French no idea how the hell did that happen. I didn't look, I was preoccupied elsewhere. They took mainland England. Mainland by mean the little island here at the end of Europe. I was really glad about it, and I was hoping that the French would not lose it to the British anytime soon, because I wanted to use it as my own staging ground in the future. If that succeeds, you're going to see in a few minutes. Now, of course, aggressive expansion was not that much of a problem. I think I had one more coalition war. Yeah, I remember I had a coalition war with Ottomans, France. Yeah, really, France, Spain, Portugal, Poland and Lithuania, I think. Anyway, it was an enormous clusterfuck, but I defeated them by attacking the war instigator. It was the Portuguese who declared war on me, so I reacted by sieging their land, creating war exhaustion and reducing their war enthusiasm, which allowed me to peace out really, really fast from a coalition war, and with some gains, as you can see. It was much faster than the war with the Netherlands, the second coalition war, where the Dutch declared war because I really couldn't reach them. For France it was difficult, so I couldn't leave my land because the enemy had enormous advantage. So yeah, at this point Scandinavia formed. They were still my best buddies with Muscovy, and I really valued those alliances. Scandinavia, Muscovy, Morocco were really, really, really dope and useful throughout the entire game. And yeah, you can see I secured Tunisian coastline almost entirely. Soon they won't be able to raid me, and good riddance. I really hate that. Knights are still a bitch, but we'll see about that. And Iraq has actually formed. They lost a war with the Ottomans for the control of this coastline, but I think they'll go through Hormuz. And yeah, the Ottomans were taking some land from the Iraqi, but I was taking some land from them. Excuse me, yeah, I focused on the Middle East and I forgot the important part now. After truces were ended, I attacked France in a war. This war was actually pretty successful for me. Well, obviously I won, as you can see from the coastline. Again, coastline, right? Atlantic coastline in this case. As far as you can go. If you need to place some forts here for the future reference. Cut the French off from the sea. Landlock them. Preferably make a chain around them and then eat them up. As you can see, I ate Pope in the meanwhile. They still have Avignon, but whatever. Milan is still alive. I don't really care about them at this point. I know I will take this land eventually. It's good development, and time will come. They are not a priority anymore. And yeah, I actually took Tunisian coastline to the end, so no more Tunisian pirates. Only knights were pirating me now, as Morocco was my ally. Anyway, I left Milan. I know I will get this land eventually. It's practically inevitable at this point from my perspective, and my priority was defeating my enemies who really mattered. And who mattered at this point? Ottomans, still dangerous. Polish were actually really strong, but my northern allies were actually enough to prevent any problems with the Polish. I have to say the army was ridiculously strong. Well, this is the highlight of Polish military, especially cavalry-wise. So yeah, you have to deal with Hussars. You know how they are. I think you should know if you play this game. So yeah, they are devastating. So yeah, we have this little African coastline. And yeah, let's continue. It's really starting to get difficult to keep track of things because we have to jump from here to there. Yeah, another war with the Ottomans and with Polish. I think I had a war with the Polish. I don't remember. I don't think it was a coalition war. Oh, I had a really fucking stupid war with the Polish and Lithuanians, to which I was invited by my allies, the Muscovites. Now, this is the thing. Lithuanians were the main party in the war, so I helped Muscovites by sieging the capital, Vilnius. And taking these provinces, I was considering, maybe I'll finish this coastline in the Black Sea, would be nice. The problem is Muscovites did not leave the war any fucking time soon. It was really annoying. I know that somehow I got Bessarabia before that. It was nice. And at the same time I had a war with the Ottomans. As you can see, I'm continuing my strategy rather consequently. And by that I mean I finished taking entire Anatolian and actually Eastern Mediterranean coastline from the Ottomans in Anatolia and Mashriq. I finished, practically finished. There was also almost only Branicevo left. I finished creating my northern, designed northern border on the Balkan side. And this didn't matter to Cairo. Cairo is nice. Big development. Alexandria, Rosetta, good trade node control. Alexandria is key. You can push a lot of trade to Genoa. And yeah, I was continuing. No, not here. So in this war with the Ottomans, took some. Excuse me, blabbering, but I have to say it. I know how I took Bessarabia. I took it from the Ottomans in war, so I secured it just like that. A nice swing of several provinces, few provinces here in Anatolia, and yeah, coastline's ours. UP-DDA. We are really far off, and it's going excellent. So yeah, as I said, I invested about 40 at this point years in securing coastline, and it's paying dividend. The enemy's completely crippled at this point, really. Manufactories are in. Funnily enough, manufactories spawned here in the Ottoman land, although I had far more manufactories than the Ottomans, but you know, this is Europe universal, as this happens all the time. Fun fact, Enlightenment spawned next to manufactories also in Ottoman land, so yeah, they were lucky, as usual, historically speaking. And yeah, I think I'll have another war with France soon, unless I walk towards Africa, though I don't think so. Truce was probably going to end soon enough. Yeah, Tunisians are having the little fights. Never you mind, boys, you are irrelevant. Didn't take Venice and Knights for ages, I know. And yeah, I finished France, as you can see. And I have to say, this was an extremely... no, that's too strong of a word. The second coalition war was extremely difficult, I could say. But this was a surprisingly challenging fight. I underestimated the French. This is Age of Absolutism, so they have musketeers and that buff from Splendor Mechanic. I did not take that into account. And most importantly, I had absolutely horrible army compositions. And I think I lost like 80,000 manpower before I realized that I'm completely failing this war and that the French are kicking my ass. And which actually forced me to reform my military and actually create real well-designed army stocks. I think I was using a combination 18 cannons in a stack, because I think this was the 36 army width moment, so I was using 18 cannons, about 19 to 20 infantry and about 4 cavalry units, so I had about like 42,000 troops in a unit, which allowed me to avoid most of attrition damage, and I was usually moving them by twos. One had a commander, one not, and they were moving in twos and well, winning the fights for me. As I reformed my military, the French really got wasted, and I took the coastline. This was really nice. They have some here still, and they aren't landlocked. They have land in Canada. You can see colonization of the New World is going rather fine. I think it's rather fine, yeah, at 1691. South America is super rich for Portugal, which was a problem for me. I needed to take the lands, the little... This is Iberia, believe it or not. Azores, Madeira, and the Canaries. All these islands belong to Iberian region, and I needed them for my achievement, so yeah. Poor Portuguese were on a collision course. And in the meantime, I know I had a big war in Africa, relatively big. The Kilwanese have proved to be a surprisingly challenging opponent. My goal was to take the entirety of Zanzibar coastline, or as much as I could. I took that much. It allowed me to create an additional merchant from this trade node in Zanzibar, and I think I used it to push towards Goa, Goanese trade node in India. And as you can see, the Portuguese got Goa from the event they have, and it gave me an idea when I fought Portuguese next time. I think it's going to happen soon enough, we'll see. I don't remember when I exactly facilitated the change of power in Goa, but of course we'll keep an eye on that. And I know the Kilwanese did not eventually fall under the Spanish rule, they pushed them back. Meanwhile, I had a war for Madagascar. To be honest, just for the sake of it, I wanted to keep my army traditions high, and I had some truces. So yeah, beggars can be choosers. You just have to sometimes, you know, push just a little bit, bully someone, and enjoy the results. So I fought the Madagascar. I was thinking about taking the entirety of Madagascar just to boost Zanzibar trade node, but decided that fuck it, I need admin points for something more useful. And yeah, at this point, the war with Portugal was finished. I took Goa, and this is really big, because with Gulf of Aden under my control, I controlled all 3 trade centers here. Aden, as I said, Zelia and Mogadishu. I had an open reign to invest in Goa and in Indian trade nodes. Create a trade company there, dominate it, get additional merchant, and push as much trade towards Aden, Alexandria, and Genoa. That's how you make bucks that can finance your ridiculous wars and get things done. Yeah, I took Kent from France as well, had another war, as you can see. I was actually using the fact that the French had some allies. I had truce with the French, but not with the allies, so I was of course declaring on the allies using imperialism, the wonderful casus belli. And the French would join every single time, so I took some land from the French, called it, had low overextension, declared war on an ally, took more land from the French, called it, etc., to speed this process up. Also, at this point I betrayed Morocco, declared war on them, and I was moving towards Fez because it's required for the achievement as well. I dealt, no, I did not deal with these yet, I think. Yeah, they are still Portuguese and Spanish, so yeah, their time will come. This time Indian expansion was a priority. A new enlightenment is coming, unfortunately it spawned in the Ottomans, and I really wanted that Indian trade node. Money that's made there is amazing. This is the real deal. Bengal, Ceylon, Goa, Indus not so much. Push trade from here, push trade from Indochina if you can. I did not move to Indochina. I didn't have really time to play the game as slow as I would like in order to really dominate the Indian Ocean trade node, Indochina, and perhaps even China. I said, fuck it, I need to do something else. I have other priorities. I want to finish this because Cradle of Civilization is out anyway. Meanwhile, Russia formed. I did not like it, to be honest. I very much prefer the Russians as Muscovites, because as Russians they have core on Crimea, as you can probably know from Mr. Putin's actions in the past few years. They really like that part of the world. No wonder it's strategic. But they have a core on Crimea, they have a core on this coastline, and that would inevitably lead us to conflict. As Muscovites they were okay, but you know, shit happens. Okay. Besides that, I had a war with Georgia. They were allied to Muscovy, actually, so I declared on Trebizond, who they were guaranteeing, if I remember correctly. I took Abkhazia. This is a really nice province in here because it's mountains. You can place a nice fort there. You get the drill. It's Caucasus. That's how you roll there. I used another conflict with the Ottomans to push here, take Damascus. This is an important trade node in Aleppo. Same for Manizia. I really don't remember those names right now. So as you can see, I'm starting to dominate Anatolia. Importantly enough, I secured my Balkan border. So right now, yeah. The deed is done, Ottomans, thank you. You are no longer a problem. I will just eat you just as I finished eating Milan, as you can see. I also took Vienna because it's required for the achievement, of course, and I had the opportunity. So yeah, grab it, deal with it, and move with other more important matters, like Indian trade node. Yeah, and I have to say I really underestimated rebels in Enlightenment. I had aspirations for liberty, a catastrophe at some point. And it was catastrophic indeed. I think I had like 400, 500k rebels. I did not post this online because it wasn't interesting to just butcher rebels on and on and on. But yeah, I had them, and oh my god, it was so annoying to deal with revolutionaries in Italy, in Spain, in France. Moving troops around has become a problem. Actually, when you have a land route around the entire Mediterranean, the game is stupid, and it does not calculate speed of movement if you have transport fleets in Mediterranean and Black Sea. On auto transport, that would allow you to move your troops faster. So I had to manually send my troops from Crimea to Provence, from like say Spain to Egypt, just to juggle the rebellions. But yeah, such is life. Took Paris, took Lyon, another centrum of trade, Longundum apparently. Anjou, because Anjou is a fort. So yeah, at this point I knew I could deal with the French. I just needed to separate them from anyone else, blob it, eat it, the usual, just as before. So let's get back to business. I knew I had a point when I had those incredible, oh yeah, as you can see I took a big chunk of France, and I did not need Rethel, I think, because this isn't French region anymore. I didn't take Franche-Comté as well, but we'll take it next time. And yeah, so French are practically dealt with. They are still annoying because in order to take this, get war score, I had to sail all the way towards the New World, deal with the colonies, deal with French land. It was a bother, really. Fighting a colonist is always a damn bother. Perhaps that's why the British just gave up on the Americans, right? They were just too bothered. Yada yada yada. So funny. And yeah, Anatolia is secured. I still want to take Mashrik, but well, I actually need to take Mashrik, but all in due time. Now here's the bitchy problem. Look, those goddamn Russians took the province I needed. I need this for Mare Nostrum, so I knew, oh god damn it, Russians were such useful allies. I'll have to eventually just, you know, break this alliance, and it sucks. Because that's that's life, you know. That's business, thug life. So you know. But that's future. And in the meantime, yeah, the British took back the land from the French. This was the last Spanish province, which I will have to take in a absolutely separate war. Goddamn stupid, but oh well. Managed to take all those annoying islands. Never forget about them. They are here. The Azores, Madeira, and the Canaries. They are there. They belong to Iberia. You need them for controlling the Iberian region. Annoying, but yeah, don't forget it if you're going for the achievement. At this point, well, fuck Madagascar. Not interesting, really. Need this. Finished Morocco. At this point I broke my alliance with Morocco. Well, obviously I did it earlier, and they were annoying as hell because they were privateering. I needed to deal with that now instead of Tunisians. And well, Knights were still there, so that's a bugger. I think I'll eventually just kill them soon enough. So yeah, practically for all intent and purpose, we have reached Mare Nostrum stage. There's only Thessaly, Ingil, and Yedisan, which do not belong to us, which make... oh yeah, I forgot about Trebizond. Trebizond is rarely remembered. So yeah, France is devoured right now. I think I had... This Vaud actually doesn't belong to France. I think this is South Germany already as a region. I needed this. This actually belongs to the French region, and I needed it as the last province to control France completely. Ironically enough, I think I would complete France before Iberia, and the Balkans. Who would have thought about that, right? France usually is the difficult one to conquer. And regarding Anatolia, well, as you can see, we are doing decent. The Ottomans at this point don't matter. Frankly, individually, no one at this point matters except me. I am the superpower. The biggest problem is logistics. I have the alliance with Scandinavians and Russians. I think Russians eventually will be betrayed by me because I will need Ingil. As you can see, I took Yedesan preemptively. And yeah, what changed? Scandinavians were bros to me. But yeah, at this point, something tragic happened. And bear with me for a moment. Scandinavians were a kingdom, and they fell under a personal union with the British. They were like the second world power, I think, after me, or the third, because they had a lot of development. They have really good provinces and good military, etc. As you can see, they are taking North Germany and Baltic coastline by the storm. So when I eventually attacked Hainaut for this, Kamerakum, yeah, sure, whatever you say, they had the British as allies. I wanted to defeat the British because I need London and I need Yorkshire. Yeah, this is Yorkshire. I needed these provinces and I needed Zealand, of course. At this point I took Zealand already. This is during the war. I think I pieced Netherlands out earlier because they were really strong. This is actually a lot of land in Europe, and the Dutch can produce a lot of really good troops. So respect them in late game. They know how to fight. Yeah, well, they don't have Dutch Indochina. Perhaps that's for the better, at least for me. I remember I lost this fortress because I couldn't move troops here in time. So instead of using Kent as my staging ground, when I would just put like 120, 140k troops and just declare war, conquer entire Britain, you know, nullify the naval advantage, I just had to produce a sick amount of heavies in my coastline. I don't like ports, luckily enough. Sail them here, secure the channel, Straits of Dover, and push those troops. I think I sent in total like 88,000 troops towards Britain only, and I really didn't need anything more because the Brits didn't really put up much of a fight on their homeland. Yeah, so that was that. I think I took London not much later. This was a long and grueling fight. The Scandinavians were a true problem, and this was like a cock actually. I'm sorry. Childish, I know. And yeah, eventually I did take this from the, here it is. I took this from the Hainati. I didn't take London, surprisingly, in this war. Another conflict with the Ottomans, as you can see, almost done. Balkans are now entirely mine. Feels good, man. I still lose some money from Ragusa to Vienna, which is super annoying, and you can't stop it. You have to control Vienna completely, and then so on and so forth. But such is life. I didn't care about what would happen to this. This is like the last Ottoman province. Quite amusing. The Polish were a problem. They would fight me anytime they could. I think they didn't forget Bessarabia. The Ottomans had still Mecca and Epiphania and Algarbia, so they were reduced to 4 provinces. Meanwhile, I attacked Iraq. I took the Persian Gulf coast. I took Basra Basra, which is Euphrates estuary, Grane, which finished Mashrik. I only needed Epiphania for Anatolia, and that would finish it. So, as you can see, not much is left. London, Yorkshire, Zealand is mine already. Yeah, I finished the Spanish. Actually, to finish the Spanish, I had to take Cape of Good Hope because this is their new capital. Apparently, the Spanish have moved to Africa and they like it there. I had an independence war on New Spain's side, but they were annoying as hell. We didn't make much progress, and I just took one province, left this war because I had a conflict with the Russians. The Russians were strong, they were difficult, but I wanted this province, I wanted to get it over with, and yeah, I took a little more than I had to. As you can see, I finished the British, London, and and Yorkshire is ours. Yeah, so coastline is ours. I took Astrahan, so just to control this eastern trade just a tiny little bit better. And yeah, this is pretty much it. At this point, I collect from the English Channel and from Genoa. I don't really need to get the bonus from Genoa by not collecting anywhere else, because I dominate this trade node so sickly. It's no real point. Yeah, no, this is the last province, and I remember to get this province from the Ottomans, I had to defeat Hungary, Poland, and someone else. Yeah, Iraq. This is ironic. Hungary, Poland, and Iraq have guaranteed the Ottomans, so yeah, I had to beat them fair and square just to take this. And after I took Epiphania, the entirety of Anatolia was mine, which was the last condition. Meanwhile, I had the war with the Bahmanis. The Indians were surprisingly weak as combatants. I sent like 140,000 troops here, and I took every single trade center in Goa and in Ceylon, and some estuaries as well in Bengal. Yeah, Bengal. Well, my throat is going sore. So with that, I had a river of money flowing towards Genoa, so there you have it, done. So that's how my run looked. Oh god, I know this has been an extremely long rant. I hope you'll find it enlightening and informative as to how to approach this. Take your chances at first, tread lightly, care for aggressive expansion, take what you can. Think in large scale. You have to take a big chunk of land. You don't have to do one region at a time. You can expand one place, start another frontier, expand in several directions. The biggest problems are the Ottomans, the French, of course, coalitions. That's it. Moving towards Horn of Africa and controlling Indian trade in 16th and 17th century is a great move. Do it. This is valuable. This is real money. Trust me. This is cash. This will allow you to fund your war efforts. You are the Roman Empire. Build yourself Suez canal if you have to. Just make the money flow your own. I don't know about colonization, didn't try it. As you can see, I had the objective of being as militaristic, aggressive, and republican well as I could. It worked out well. Thank you. I suppose this is it. It was a long run, I must say. I didn't have much time to play, so perhaps that's why it took me so long. I really enjoyed this achievement, to the point, at least to the point where it was a challenge. After I defeated Ottomans and took their coastline, same goes for the French, I knew I'm done, I will complete it. It will only be a matter of execution, and execution can become kinda boring, a form of a chore. So that's how you create a Roman Empire from Italy, or actually Florence. Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed this run, and actually right about now, if I place it correctly, there should be a link to a poll for new achievement run in Cradle of Civilization proper, as I intend to continue. This is really, really fun for me. Vote on what you'd like to see. If you enjoyed the show, please, of course, wait for new series. Comment, like, if you liked it. Share, subscribe. I'm really waiting for your feedback. I really appreciate it, and I hope to hear from you soon. This has been Gaming Taken and Mare Nostrum Run. Thank you for your attention. See you again next time. Bye bye.